Wouldn't you rather give it all at once to something real?
Andor is Star Wars like you've never seen it before. This ground-level view of a burgeoning resistance movement is a fantastic thriller that snakes through corridors of Imperial power and the homes of the innocents they bring suffering to. It's a slow burn at times, shouting rarely but loudly, with memorable action sequences made even more impactful by the tangible stakes birthed in its quieter but equally engrossing episodes. It's one of the very best TV shows of the year, and as good as Star Wars has been in a long, long time. Set 5 years before the events of Rogue One, Andor charts the journey of Cassian Andor from nomad to rebel who very much finds a cause. Along that path, the series consistently surprises with the mature themes it tackles and the emotional depth it explores, making it a true breath of fresh air when it comes to Star Wars set drama. There are no Jedi or lightsabers here, and arguably, it's barely a Star Wars show that just happens to star members of the film it's building up to. But in truth, this is why I love it so much more than anything I've seen in that universe recently. It sets itself apart by raising issues such as apartheid and class warfare. It doesn't just flutter its eyelashes at them either, but instead explores them beyond the surface level reading. Of course, it's not a groundbreaking look into subjects that plague our world, nor does it offer up solutions as to how we can fix society, but it does thrust them forward more prominently than any other Star Wars project has done before, and for that, it deserves to be praised. Creator Tony Gilroy is a modern master of the espionage thriller, with his work on the original Bourne trilogy and Michael Clayton some of the best examples of the genre. The series isn't afraid to spend entire episodes slowly loading the gun before firing in spectacular fashion when the time is right. Some may find the pace plodding at times, but it's that setup that makes the flurries of violence all the more exciting, actually constructing a full-fledged narrative with defined characters and conversations that feel like humans naturally interacting, and rather than coming across like walking talking plot devices, there to transport you to the next low stakes fight scene. Scripts have never been of this higher standard at any point in Star Wars history, and with rose tinted glasses removed, there's a genuine argument that it's never been as good as this in general. Andor isn't just a brilliantly made Star Wars show, it's a brilliantly made TV show full stop, thanks to the lofty ambitions and clinical execution of each of its 12 episodes. It's a series of towering highs, made all the more dizzying by meticulously constructed, dialogue-heavy scenes that preface them. These quieter pockets work so well thanks to the layered, thoughtful writing on show throughout, and the nuanced, often powerful performances from each member of the cast.
The Empire has no moral boundaries, why should we not take hold of every chance we can? Let them see how an insurgency adapts.
Well, you're half right. The Empire doesn't play by the rules.
Weirdly, for the star of the show, Diego Luna is almost the unsung hero of Andor. He's the glue that holds the series together, crucial in driving the plot forward at all times, but often letting others take centre stage in big moments. Headlining that stellar supporting cast is Stellan Skarsgård, who plays the deliciously mysterious Luthen. He's a character with incredible depth who, just when you think you've drilled deep enough into understanding, throws another curveball your way. No actor feels out of place in Andor, each pitching their A-game, from Adria Arjona, who brings warmth and loyalty to the role of Bix, to Fiona Shaw, who stars in some of the series' most impactful scenes. Then there are the actors who come into the show for extended cameos and end up stealing scene after scene, like Alex Lawther's impassioned Nemik or Andy Serkis's powerful turn as Kino Loy. Any story is only as good as its villains though, and in Dedra Meero and Cyril Khan, Andor has two very different but very effective ones. The former, played brilliantly by Denise Gough, is a force of nature and a reflection of the very worst sensibilities of the Empire. A snarling face ready to spit vocal venom at any who challenge her, she has very few redeeming qualities, making her the perfect villain to root against. Cyril, portrayed by Kyle Soller, is a very different sort of presence. A slimy, almost desperate sort of figure, searching for recognition from the world in all the wrong places. Andor gets us deeper within the Empire's walls than ever before, frequently exposing us to just how evil they can be. It's a refreshing peek behind the clinically white Imperial curtain, letting us see more reflections of our worlds than we'd be keen to admit, therefore granting us a more personal connection to the atrocities being committed and evoking a greater emotional response. Andor doesn't only create engaging new characters, but also successfully develops existing ones, such as Mon Mothma. This is thanks largely to the humanity that Genevieve O'Reilly brings to the role. Her scenes in the heart of Imperial-controlled Coruscant add an almost Game of Thrones-like edge of political intrigue to proceedings, as she attempts to play people off of one another while remaining undetected as a rebel sympathiser.
People will suffer.
That's the plan.
For long stretches, Andor presents itself as a political thriller, with walks and talks through Imperial halls and back alley deals taking place on more than one occasion. But that doesn't mean it lacks in action. When it chooses to click into next gear, it never disappoints. Highlights include exciting street battles, heists, and prison breaks, each a wonderfully choreographed sequence with genuinely tangible stakes at play. It never once looks cheap and has some of the most gorgeously shot Star Wars scenes ever put on camera, as well as claustrophobic handheld sections that get you right into the action. The range of styles on display is exciting, with each designed to fit the style of each thriller each act of the series is tapping into. When combined with Nicholas Britell's astounding score, it creates something truly special. His stirring strings soundtracking the series' more paranoid pockets, as well as the pulsing percussion does its explosive moments. It's an extra slavering of class on top of a show already layered with so much quality. Andor is one of the very best things to ever come out of the Star Wars universe. It's a masterfully constructed political and espionage thriller, unafraid to tackle real-world issues and challenge the oppressive nature of bureaucracy. It's Jason Bourne and Michael Clayton stood side by side wearing stormtrooper armour. Tony Gilroy's vision has been brought to life brilliantly thanks to top-tier talent both in front and behind the camera, with each line of thoughtfully written dialogue delivered and captured in a believable way despite taking place in a galaxy far, far away. A slightly slow start may put some off at first, but once it hits its stride, it never once looks back and develops into something you cannot afford to miss. Star Wars has never looked like this before, and perhaps it's never looked better. For more from Andor, check out Canon Fodder, where we drill deeper into the series, and for everything else Star Wars, stick with IGN.